Hello, broadcasters. Welcome to episode 215 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige. I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's nice to be back at our regular place. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a fun week. Yeah, it was nice to be on a work trip, but yeah, good to be back. Not on the trackpad and hotel Wi-Fi, but it worked surprisingly well in the hotel. But yeah, for anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard. We do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that you all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we can. And I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional streams. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. Awesome seeing folks tuning in from all over the world tonight. We've got Ya from Edmonton, Canada. Very cool. I've got some folks in Edmonton. Before I forget, we have lots of awesome shows on StreamYard that you should definitely check out. We've got YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of every month. Really great show if you're looking to grow on YouTube and gain insights on things like, how you should be thinking about your YouTube thumbnails, how to interpret analytics. Dee and Daniel are both pros when it comes to all things video and especially growing on YouTube. So definitely check that one out. And we have Enhance Your Live Streams the last Tuesday of every month with Nick Nimmin. Nick, again, pro with all things video, but for your specific live stream tips, definitely check that one out. And one thing we've been doing at the start of these town halls so that you get to know a little bit more about us, we get to know a little bit more about you, is a fun fact. And the fun fact we had for tonight was, do you prefer, I think I could probably guess the majority of folks, but do you prefer to work sitting or standing? And as you can see in our images here, you can probably guess what Dan and I's answers will be. But do you have a preference, Dan?
I like a lot of both. Yeah, for anyone who's watched these for a while, you've probably seen me standing at times, sitting at other times. Actually, a long time ago, I built my own standing desk. This was years ago, and I remember it was really hard to adjust, so I would just stand all the time. So for years, I was just standing 24/7, or the whole time I was working. Now I've got one of the automatic ones, and I like to switch it up every half hour or so. So I like a lot of both. How about you?
Cool. I definitely almost always sit while I'm working, but I do aspire to stand more often because I believe it's. I've heard it's much healthier. So maybe at some point I will. I think this desk actually does raise. I just need to actually try using it. So maybe I aspire to be standing, but so far I have preferred to sit.
Cool.
All right, we got lots of questions tonight. Let's see what we have here. Hey, Stevie, that's super kind of you to say. Glad that you're enjoying them. Elio says, any plans on incorporating in/out animations for overlays? So we did make one small change recently for video clips so that there's less of an abrupt change between them. But one thing that we're really excited about and that we are working on that we've mentioned over the last few town halls is we are working on some really, really deep features that don't add complexity to the studio, but do allow a lot of customization for folks that are looking to add more customization when it comes to things like layouts and scenes and really controlling more of how the overall broadcast looks. So stay tuned on that. Really, really excited about that. The designs that our design team has been working on are really exciting. Let's see. Glamazine says, will we be able to change the background of Reels, Shorts, vertical videos made on StreamYard? Do you want to take that one, Dan?
Cool. Yeah, great question. So obviously, or maybe not obviously, but we launched Shorts and Reels quite recently. So I think that was 2 weeks ago now. It started to roll out. And yeah, it's kind of early stages. Obviously, it works. So it works pretty well. But there's a lot of features we want to add to it. So that will very likely be one of them. Maybe things like automatic captioning. There's like being able to crop instead of just padding with the top and bottom with black or with a certain color. So there's a lot of things we want to add. I'm not sure exactly when we'll add them, but we have a team working just on adding stuff to this. So hopefully pretty soon you'll see a lot more stuff coming.
Cool, cool. And that actually goes in nicely into one of the first topics we had for tonight was any feedback on the new Shorts and Reels feature. Obviously, we released it recently. Some folks are super excited. I can also see in the chat that some folks are looking for more functionality. I see Michael's comment hoping for more than just the cropping there. So like Dan just mentioned, Michael, this is just the very first early version where we wanted to make sure that we had the integrations built out really, really nicely so you could directly post to Instagram and Shorts. But we definitely want to go way, way further than this, right? So we want to do exactly what you've mentioned there when it comes to being able to crop and control exactly what you post. So stay tuned. Way more is coming very, very soon. But yeah, beyond feedback like that, or any other feedback in addition to that, would be great to know what else you'd like to see.
Yep.
Awesome, Glamazine. Glad it's working well for you in its current form.
And yeah, definitely keep the feedback coming on that one. Like Geige said, there's a lot of features we want to add to it, but we're always trying to prioritize what order to add certain features in. So yeah, if there's anything you want us to add to the Shorts and Reels stuff, or even like the trimming and splitting functionality we have, just any kind of the editing, repurposing stuff, definitely let us know.
Cool. Awesome. I'll say Gia because I'm going to struggle for the rest of it. But awesome that you're enjoying the headlines. Hopefully everyone's enjoying that. Studio 1209 says, any way to incorporate annotated tools? Do you want to take that one, Dan?
I'm not sure I fully understand. By annotation, I think he's referring to transcriptions or closed captions.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'd be curious just to learn a bit more. Studio Group, like, is that you want transcriptions of the recording? Is it that you want closed captions when you're streaming somewhere or to on air or something like that? Just a bit more info would be great. But we're definitely open to both of those in various forms.
Cool. Dr. Michael Thomas says, I'm producing classes. Is there a way to increase participants in a group setting while streaming live? So we do have a few options there, Dr. Michael. When it comes to inside the StreamYard studio itself, the maximum on screen is 10 right now, and there's not a way to increase it at this point. But if that is a popular request, it's definitely possible that we might increase that in the future. You are able to have more backstage. So on the Pro plan, you're able to have up to, is it 12 backstage, Dan?
12 on Pro, yeah, 15 on Premium.
15 on Premium. But one thing that we did release recently, depending on like what kind of format these classes are, StreamYard On Air might be a good solution. So StreamYard On Air is sort of like your own private version of like it allows you to stream on your own website or to create a webinar, which they're not able to join on screen with you, but you can have it essentially, well, it depends what plan you're on, but you can have hundreds of folks or even thousands if you're on the higher tier plans watching using StreamYard On Air. So curious if that would work for you, Michael, but it's more of a broadcast experience if you're watching from On Air. You'll have the live chat and they'll be able to type through the live chat, but they'd have to actually join the studio to participate on screen. Budgeting Just Because says, question, can you add trending audio to Shorts that can be used on YouTube? That's a cool request, Budgeting. So we definitely don't have that in the initial version that we've launched, but definitely noted in terms of a feature to add. Any additional thoughts on that one, Dan?
No, cool. I think that's useful to do that.
Absolutely. Gia says, the headlines are cool. Can I stream on Twitter or Twitch? Yes, you can stream to both of them, and you can even stream to both at the same time if you would like.
Yep.
Awesome, Champrix. Glad that you received the hoodie and pillow. That's awesome.
Cool.
Bill says, having an issue when changing from video to video. When I do it, I have to select 2 times before it finally catches and holds. Any suggestions? So live chat might be the best place for that, Bill. If you go to StreamYard.com/contact, my best guess would almost be, it sounds kind of silly, but it has happened to me before personally. If maybe there's like a key, sometimes there's like a key on your keyboard that essentially like makes you double select things. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying, but it'll essentially, when you click something, highlight it, and then you have to click it again. So it might be something where you have that setting on your keyboard that's requiring that. But support might be able to walk you through that. So,
yeah, and just to confirm, are you saying you have to like click a video clip twice or something? That's what it sounded like, right?
If you could confirm, Bill, that's what it sounded like to me. Shark says, just started live streaming in January, still learning tons about just basic functionality. Well, it's awesome that you got started, Shark. That's fantastic.
Cool.
Let's see what else we have here. Daniel says, one of the things I don't like about live stream shorts is I can't share my screen. If you guys could implement live shorts, I could share my screen. That is extremely appealing. That's great to know. Thanks for that, Michael. Let's see what else we had here. I guess while we continue going through these questions, there were a couple other topics we wanted to ask you about tonight. One was actually any feedback on the team member spotlight. So it's actually been a while since we've had one of the StreamYard team members on, but curious sort of like if there's certain types of team members that we haven't featured yet that you'd like to see featured, or any feedback on the segment in general. Like, would you like to see more of them, less of them? Any feedback in general? We're just curious if you all had any thoughts on that.
Cool. Yeah, and to confirm, Geige is referring to, for anyone that's been to previous town halls, at the end of the town hall, we'll bring a team member from StreamYard up and just chat with them, ask them some questions, and just have a chance for you to get to meet other people behind the product at StreamYard besides just Geige and I. So yeah, if anyone's seen that before, just curious if you have feedback or anything you'd love to see us change, any new questions you'd love for us to ask them, or different types of people you want us to bring up.
Cool. Anna says, question, I have Spanish-speaking only friends. Is there a Spanish StreamYard as well as an Ask StreamYard Espanol? We definitely should add an Espanol Ask StreamYard, Anna. That would be awesome. But we don't have a show like that's this format in Spanish, but the site is fully supported in Spanish. So if you go to StreamYard, there's an option to change your language, and you can change it to Spanish. The live support help chat actually it works really, really well, especially for Spanish. It does live translations on the fly, so you can ask your questions in Spanish to our support team, and they will respond to you in Spanish as well. So in terms of using the site, everything's translated. All the help docs as well are also in Spanish. The biggest sort of gap is when it comes to like our live shows and videos, but essentially everything you need to use the product is in Spanish.
Yep.
Spider-Man says, or Spider-Man crawl space, that's funny. Would there be a way to position where the comments come in on screen? I'd love to move it down just a smidge or up just a smidge on the screen. That's a great question, Spider-Man. So like I mentioned earlier, not at this point, but we are working on sort of a second version of the studio that will allow for much deeper customization and give you more flexibility in that sort of area. So stay tuned on that. Simi says, is StreamYard completely separate from other social platforms? Yes. So StreamYard is not a social platform. Like we directly integrate with the social platforms to make it easy to stream there, but it's not a social platform itself. So you can record on StreamYard, and your recordings are stored on StreamYard. It's not like an extension of or a social platform itself.
Yep.
Rick says, question, are there any plans to allow additional avatars for paid subscriptions? So correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but you can upload multiple avatars. If you could maybe Rick, if you could give us a little bit more info, because you should be able to upload multiple avatars and choose between them. Maybe there's some sort of limit that I'm not aware of in terms of the amount.
Yeah, Rick, I'd be curious if you could let us know how many you're trying to upload. So yeah, I think there's a limit. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, maybe we just need to increase that, because that's easy to do.
Yeah, we're definitely.
I don't think we would charge for that. I think we would just increase it if you are hitting that.
Cool. Juan says, I hosted my first on-air webinar and had a great experience. Awesome, Juan. Happy to hear that. I hope you can make further enhancements such as recurring webinars and one-way chat or Q&A. Yes, we have tons of awesome stuff coming for on-air. Juan, Q&A is one of those, along with the ability to embed the live chat. I guess anything else to add there, Dan?
Just curious if there's any other features. Like you listed a few of them here. Just if there's any others you'd be interested in. And just to confirm as well, for recurring webinars, you just mean you have one every week at the same time and you want people to be able to kind of pick which one they register for? I know sometimes people also want automated webinars, which is more like our pre-recorded streaming option, where it just kind of continually streams out at the same time, but it's a pre-recorded version. Yeah, I'd be curious what you're most interested in.
Beauty Bubble says, getting back to highlighting broadcasters would be a good 2023 initiative. Yeah, that's a cool suggestion, Beauty Bubble, bringing on folks that in the community that do live streams.
Cool.
U-Haul says, is there a way to stream to two YouTube channels at the same time? Yes, absolutely. If you can connect as many YouTube channels you like as destinations, and then simply when you create your broadcast, you can just select both of them to live stream to. Tristan says for the team members would like to see longer streams when doing them. Good to know. Appreciate all the feedback there. Doggy Trader says, educators, I'd like to maybe meet StreamYard educators who do your challenges and seminars. Cool. Yeah, we could definitely set that up. I don't think Julie has.
She has been on here once.
Been on, but it was a long time ago, and maybe before we did some of those challenges. So yeah, we could definitely do that.
Cool.
Salinas says, is adding MOV files anywhere in talks at SY for video overlays? Do you want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, we're definitely open to that. We're just looking at how we can improve video overlays in general. Or we sometimes call them video overlays, sometimes video clips. I'd also like transparency is the other one we're interested in. That might be why you're asking about MOV files. WebM also supports transparency. There's some weird browser issues, and we kind of want to avoid the issue where you can see the transparency in a video, but maybe your guest can't because they're on a browser that doesn't support MOV files. So that's kind of why we're experimenting with it. But yeah, it is something we're looking into. And yeah, I'd be curious just to confirm why you want MOV files. Is it for transparency, or is it just that's what your videos are in and you don't want to have to convert them?
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the clarification, Rick. So we'll likely increase it without it being paid. 10 was just sort of an arbitrary number that we had in there, but we can make it a higher number.
Yep.
Stevie says, is there a way for StreamYard to offer super chats from viewers? So super chats do come directly into the studio, Stevie, and it actually has kind of a cool animation at the top that shows like the amount that they donated, and we have a direct integration with it. But maybe is there something in addition to that, or if you could let us know?
Yeah, or maybe you mean like StreamYard would implement something like super chats where you can donate on StreamYard instead of on YouTube. But yeah, we do show comments in kind of a cool way when you get a super chat on StreamYard.
Cool. Let's see what else we had here. Rick says, use the avatars to switch between that correlate to different topics. That's a really cool way to use the avatars. I haven't thought of that, but that totally makes sense.
Cool.
Pete says, question, any plans to use the extra camera as a screen source instead of a camera source? Would be great for iPad sharing. Hope you're well, G&D. Hope you're doing well too, Pete. It's been a minute. Yeah, want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I'm understanding it correctly. So use it as a screen source instead of a camera source. So is the question here mostly, Pete, just can you share two screens? Like, is that sort of the thing that you'd love us to add? And you're just phrasing it like this? Yeah, like, do you just want to be able to share two things, screen share two things at once, basically?
Cool. If you could let us know, Pete. Let's see what else we had here. Rick says, any plans on streaming to TickTock live? So we definitely love to support TickTock in the future. Rick, right now there's not a formal API for streaming there for a third-party application. But I assume at some point that will change, and as soon as it does, we'd love to support streaming to TickTock.
Yeah, basically TickTock only allows you to stream to TickTock from the TickTock app, not from other services. For now.
Gia says, are you thinking about this, but the record only is about happening? There might be misunderstanding, Gia, so if you could let me know if I'm misunderstanding, but every StreamYard stream is, like if you're on the paid version of StreamYard, is recorded, and you can choose to do a record-only broadcast or a live stream, but both are recorded on StreamYard, which is kind of nice to have as a backup in addition to what's stored on whatever platform you're streaming to.
Yep.
383 says, my audio starts out loud and then gets low. Any ideas on what might be causing that?
That's specifically for background music, right?
I believe, if you could confirm 383 if it's with the background music, but I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that off the top of your head, Dan? Live chat support might be the best place.
Yeah, I'd be curious if it's first of all, if you're talking about background music, and if so, if it's one of the audio tracks we have, or if it's something that maybe you uploaded. Yeah, I've never heard of that before, but yeah. Our support team can probably help troubleshoot because it does sound like a very specific thing.
Cool. Let's see. Smaz Sky says, I missed who's asking about streaming to two YouTube channels at the same time. Something to keep in mind is YouTube doesn't necessarily like duplicate content. Yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. Sma, maybe someone in the chat is more expertise when it comes to duplicate content on YouTube. I think it does depend on whether or not like the sort of license that you're publishing the content as, like if you're making it sort of the ability for other people to use that content freely, or if you are publishing it as copyright material yourself, has an impact on how that works. So it's not necessarily a problem, but it can be a problem. So definitely confirm that before streaming to 2 channels at the same time.
Yep.
Juan says, there's lots of awesome suggestions on air. Appreciate all that feedback. I'm starring all of them, and we'll make sure that we note all of them down. Appreciate all the suggestions. One of them from Juan here says, would it be possible to hide the number of live viewers? So I'm assuming that's about on air. Juan, on the social platforms, maybe there's some social platforms that you can, but there's not actually any that I'm familiar with where you can actually hide the number of live viewers, right, Dan?
I don't think so. No.
But in the StreamYard Studio, you can choose to hide it, so your guests won't. You can choose.
No, your guests just don't see it in general.
Or sorry, your guests don't see it at all. And then with on air,
I don't think you can hide it right now with on air. But that is something we'll probably add. So if the question is about on air, I think we will add that. If you're talking about in the studio, you can't hide it for yourself, but you can hide it for your guests. Or sorry, like I mentioned before, we do hide it for your guests. So your guests don't actually see what the viewership is. So yeah, just be curious. Like you're talking about on air, is it the social platforms? Is it yourself in the studio? Because I know sometimes it can be kind of distracting.
Cool. Let's see what else we had here. There were a couple other topics I wanted to get to tonight, so let me just throw those up before we get to more questions. So in case you missed it, on air does support other languages now, which I think is pretty cool. So when it comes to sort of registration and having the sequence go out of like, hey, there's an hour until the webinar starts, you can now choose to have that in like Spanish or other languages.
Actually, it'll just default to the language of the user that registered.
Of like what they have in their browser.
Someone watching it, they speak Spanish first and foremost. Their email will be in Spanish.
Awesome. Cool. And then the other one, it's been a while since we mentioned it, but wanted to mention again for folks watching tonight. So we are working on an early version of a tool that's all about sort of finding guests and shows and helping people find people to collaborate with and create content together, whether it's, a podcast or a live stream. So if you're interested in participating in that and checking that out, that if you go to sy.app/collab, there's just a Google form there. And if you submit your email, we will invite you to try it out. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
No, it's exciting.
Cool. Let's see here. Should we also go ahead and queue up the giveaway tool, Dan? So
You betcha.
Yeah, that's a good point, Doug, too. Oh, yeah, you should definitely stay on top of it to make sure that YouTube doesn't become more strict when it comes to duplicate content. Chaston says, is there any possibility to add StreamYard as a multi-platform source if I need a streaming key for Pro Presenter? So right now, StreamYard doesn't have any sort of source functionality. If you mean sort of like an RTMP link to pull in StreamYard as a source, StreamYard doesn't have that. There are many folks that have used StreamYard as part of Pro Presenter, but I think they essentially bring Pro Presenter into StreamYard. We have an article on Pro Presenter, so you might want to check that out, Chaston. If you go to StreamYard.com/blog and search for Pro Presenter, we have some articles on that. But there are various ways that people have used StreamYard with Pro Presenter, but there's not like a source option. Cool. It looks like most folks are familiar with the giveaway, but tonight we'll be giving away a StreamYard pillow, like the one I have in the back there, and a StreamYard sweater. And we actually made this tool publicly accessible. So if you're ever interested in doing your own giveaway, you can just go to StreamYard.com/giveaway and run it just how we're running it tonight. To be eligible, all you have to do is type in hashtag the yard. It only counts once, so don't it won't benefit you to type it in a bunch of times, but we'll give you maybe 10 or 15 seconds or so to get in your hashtag the yards.
Cool.
Beauty says, collab is wonderful. Find me over there. Awesome, Beauty. Dave says, any update on having an Outlook calendar integration with On Air? So we do integrate with a few different calendars, but not Outlook yet, right, Dan?
think we do, but I could be wrong.
All right. Well, if we don't have,
I know we added a bunch of calendar integrations recently.
cool. So maybe double check, Dave. But if we don't have it yet, it's definitely one that we'd love to add. But like Dan mentioned,
I think we did just add it. Yeah, and yeah, if not, it's coming very soon.
All right. Let's see. Awesome, Bernai. Glad that you're enjoying the shorts feature.
I would guess it is very cold in Calgary right now.
Awesome, Dr. Michael. Glad that you're able to catch us live. Really appreciate you tuning in.
Cool.
Has the number steady, Dan?
I think so. Did you say what we're giving away?
Yeah, it's the StreamYard pillow and a StreamYard sweater.
Cool. Good luck, everyone.
Johnny, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you could send an email to contact@streamyard.com, the team will coordinate with you to get your size and address to send you your brand new hoodie and pillow. Congrats again.
Cool.
All right. So we have time for maybe a couple more questions here. I see quite a few questions about monetizing on air. Here's another one from El Gusto. Hello, any plans for the webinar option to monetize, like charging charging to the guest? You want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, it's definitely good feedback. We're certainly open to it. I wouldn't say for sure we're going to add that super soon, but if it comes up a lot, it's definitely something we're open to. And it has come up a fair bit already.
Cool. And Bryson says, any update on adding more custom fields to the on-air registration? So yeah, that one came up a ton when we first launched it, Bryson, and don't have any solid dates, but that is something that we're actively working on, right, Dan?
Yep. Yeah, I'd always love to know too what fields you're most interested in. Like I can guess some of the more obvious ones, but if there's any specific fields you'd love to add, or if you just want like, hey, I want to ask any random question.
Elio says, I would love for you guys to increase the destinations on the Pro plan from 8 to 10. Noted, Elio. Appreciate the suggestion. I'd be super curious, just out of genuine curiosity, like what those 10 platforms are. Like, do you stream to like multiple, like multiple Facebook pages, multiple YouTube channels? Yeah. I would just be curious. Hey, Andy. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here. Bernie says, I'm not familiar with On Air. Where can I learn about it? So I think the best place for that, Bernie, would probably be if you just go to StreamYard.com and log in. And the top right, there's a drop down. And one of the drop down items, it's I believe it says new. Just say new, Dan.
Yeah, let me check. It says news.
News. Yeah. If you hit the top right of StreamYard and click news, all the latest features will be there. And On Air is only for maybe 4 or 5 features or so ago. If you just scroll down there, there'll be a nice video that walks you through exactly how it works and how to use it.
Yeah, and for anyone who ever wants to see what StreamYard has shipped recently, that is a great place to get that. So you just go on the StreamYard dashboard, my account in the top right, and then news. And there's a whole list of all the things that have released recently with videos for most of them, or at least like a description of them.
Cool. And with that, this was episode 215 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure being here and answering your questions. We have lots of exciting stuff coming soon, so we'll be excited to talk with you in the coming weeks, and we'll see you next week at the same time, Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Cool. See you next week, everyone.